Oh, what the shit? Fantastic.
And it was so boring.
Is that what I think it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
I hate them.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That was so awful.
You can't handle the truth.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of See It, Stream It, Skip It, the movie podcast affiliated with Metro News, and if the movies currently in the theater are worth your time of going to see. I am your host, Ethan Collins. Joined alongside me, as always, is my co-host, Celeste Ellis.
Hello.
And without further ado, I'm not going to waste any time. Shall we just get into the first movie?
Let's go.
All right. Roll the trailer.
Hey, never touch the buttons. Gangsters, war criminals.
Long live the Empire.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
Strap in. Let's save the rest for after dinner.
Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu, directed by Jon Favreau and starring Pedro Pascal as The Mandalorian, Jeremy Allen White and Sigourney Weaver. The evil empire has fallen and Imperial warlords remain scattered throughout the galaxy. As the New Republic works to protect everything the rebellion fought for, they have enlisted the help of the legendary Mandalorian bounty hunter named Din Djarin and his young apprentice, Grogu. If you're searching for a new adventure, this is the way. Want to start off by saying that I was a little bit concerned going into this movie because of the reviews that were on Letterboxd before we saw this movie, and I was very pleasantly surprised that went in with an open mind. As long as you are okay with the show and are okay with seeing that on a big screen, you will absolutely enjoy this movie. Would you agree, Celeste?
I completely agree. I think this feels like a 3-episode arc of the TV show. It just feels like the first 3 episodes of season 4. If you're expecting it to be more than that, you know, more world building, more lore, I don't know that this is going to deliver. But if you like the style of the show, I think you'll enjoy this. And seeing it full screen in a theater, it looks fantastic. The effects are amazing. I think they did a lot of Grogu always is a practical effect, so he looks adorable. The scenery is gorgeous. I think they did a really good job with this one.
So let's go over kind of the special effects real quickly, along with maybe the writing of stuff like that. You have always told me that you will never get tired of the Grogu gag jokes. There's one in particular, we won't spoil it for you because that would kind of ruin the fun of it, but there's one scene in particular that they do it like a couple of times to where maybe even somebody who is expecting a serious movie or expecting something really Star Wars like just goes, okay, we get it, but we both really enjoyed that. It's fun little banter.
I think it's what makes this different from other Star Wars properties. This doesn't feel like the same type of movie as, like, you know, the Empire Strikes Back. This isn't that type of Star Wars movie. It's not that type of Star Wars show. Even the show is not similar to that. This is more episodic. It's more just the story between these two characters, the bond between the Mandalorian and Grogu, just seeing them develop more as a team as the story progresses. I really like that.
Grogu really becomes useful in this one. He's not just baby Yoda who constantly needs protection from Din Djarin and the Mandalorian.
This is like a little step in his development. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to see, you see a lot more from him in this, and I thought that was a good approach, but it's more of the same thing that the show, if you like the show, I think you'll like this.
Were you impressed by the amount of characters, or I guess creatures galore, that you saw in this movie?
I think all of the alien characters look great. I think the acting performances, as always, are really great from Pedro Pascal. I think he does a fantastic job. But also Jeremy Allen White plays a non-human character, and I thought he did an excellent job also.
Yeah, let's get into that casting a little bit. Pedro Pascal, this was kind of before his big break. I guess you could say this was sort of his breakout role. I feel like that's what you could definitely call this movie.
I think he,
or this character.
Without Mando, I don't think his career has had the steep success that it has.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think he's Mr. Fantastic if he doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah,
this.
I think he had to start with this. I think he still has a lot of what you love about the character. He hasn't changed. This isn't a departure. This is just a continuance, which is what I was expecting and hoping for.
And then Jeremy Allen White, I'll get into a little bit of spoilers because I don't even think you know this. Jeremy Allen White plays a character and a creature that was very popular in the cartoon television show of Clone Wars, but he is a little infant. So that character kind of returns, and he is full grown now, and they kind of bring back that character to life. So I guess my question is did you enjoy that character? Was it useful, not just as a little side mission of the story? I felt he brought a lot to the character. Jeremy Allen White brought a lot to the character and bringing it to life.
I love Jeremy Allen White, and honestly, if I hadn't seen his name in the credits, I wouldn't have known that this was him. They do alter the voice a little bit to fit the body style of the character, so I didn't immediately know it was him, and actually I kept watching thinking, when is Jeremy Allen White going to show up? He had already shown up. I just didn't realize it was him.
He sounds like he has a mouthful of food the entire time that he talks in this movie.
I think the effect that they're using makes sense with the body type of the alien. So I think it works.
Sigourney Weaver as well plays a, I wouldn't necessarily say an important role, but a pivotal role. And she does make an appearance, and she's no stranger to big franchises either.
I don't think this is a spoiler to say that she's sort of filling the role that Carl Weathers would have served if he were still living. I think he probably would have played.
Or even Carrie Fisher.
Yes, but since they have both very sadly passed away, I think she kind of fits in and fills those shoes for them.
All right. As we get down into the final minute here, Celeste, I will ask you, do you see this, do you stream this, or will you skip it?
This is a see it for me. I think it looks great in the big screen. I think it's a fun movie watching experience. Go see this film.
You told me after we watched this film that if a theater had an entire season of The Mandalorian at the theater playing and it was like a 6-hour marathon, you would go and do it.
Yeah, I would.
And I would too. I think it's a very enjoyable experience. There's the whole point of this podcast is to really insinuate that the theater is a fun experience, and this is a good movie to see in the theater with all the special effects and stuff like that, because yes, I understand televisions have grown a lot in technology nowadays, but the theater is still a great experience.
I think so. So to any local theaters, if you want to run a 8-hour Mandalorian and Grogu marathon, I'll go.
Yeah. And we'll definitely be paid to do a live broadcast or anything like that for sure. All right, we'll be back to talk about Obsession next.
Have you ever actually flirted with Nikki?
I'm gonna go get some shots.
I'll come with you if she means this much to you. And I know she does. To say, Nikki, I think we should grab a drink sometime.
Nikki, wait. I was gonna ask you,
What?
I lost my train of thought.
Alright.
Good night. What else?
Why?
One wish, Willow. You only get one wish. I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
I love you so much. A love only the branch of a willow tree could conjure.
Nikki? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you!
Obsession, directed by Curry Baker, starring Michael Johnston, Inda Navrat, Cooper Tomlinson, and Megan Lawless. And a quick synopsis of be careful who you wish for. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
I think you can gather most of what happens from the trailer. It's not that the plot is more involved than that. It's just the creeping,
nature.
Yes, it really builds. And I just want to quickly mention that this is as low budget as movies can get. This was a TIFF darling last year in 2025 in the fall. A lot of critics and reviewers saw this movie and were raving about it. It finally got a wide release May of this year. It was shot for under $1 million, and currently it has made $58.5 million domestically. So this is an absolute smash success from an independent creator on a shoestring budget, relatively, for what filmmaking costs now. So this is an incredible success.
And I have thoughts about this movie. I mean, it is one of the more creepiest movies I have ever experienced in the theater. It has a lot of uncomfortable moments, and you have to say a lot of the credit has to go to Inda Navrat.
I think she is what makes this movie fun to watch, but also terrifying to watch. There's just an overall sense of impending doom that happens from the moment that he makes his wish, and you're just, things are getting bad. You have no idea how bad they're going to get, and that sense of unknown and what's going to happen next is just so creepy. I think creepy is the best word that I can use to describe this. There are points that are genuinely shocking. I out loud screamed at this movie completely without thinking. It happened naturally. It's very embarrassing for me, but it did really creep me out.
There's a lot of stuff that creeps me out about this movie. I've said before, and I'll say it again, I don't like to feel visibly and emotionally uncomfortable while watching a movie, and that's exactly what this does. But at the same time, I think I'm starting to come around to it. But this movie has a lot of hard things that we want to talk about, but we can't because it gets into spoilers. I feel like we'll probably do a bonus episode at some point or another talking about how we felt without a time limit on how we really felt about things that happened in this movie, because we have been talking about this nonstop all weekend.
Yes, I do think it is the kind of movie that gets into your brain and you think about after you leave the theater, like, well, what if this happened? Or do you think that if this happened, this would happen? I think it is just a good conversation starter movie. I didn't enjoy watching this, but I can admit that it is like a very well done movie. Like you said, I don't love horror. It's not my favorite genre. There's just a lot of interesting things happening within the horror space right now because it's one of the few areas of filmmaking that you can kind of operate on this shoestring budget and make a good movie. You know, most mainstream films have huge special effects budgets. We just talked about Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm sure if we saw the special effects budget for that, it would make our eyes roll into our heads. But this is shot cheaply with practical effects, and
it still looks great.
It looks good because they put all of their heart and soul into acting, to script writing, to getting the angles correct with the direction. It's just a very well-made movie that I think delivers on what it's intending.
Curry Baker, he's done a couple movies before this, but he got his start doing YouTube skits, and that's how he got his start into the filmmaking process. And honestly, going forward, we are probably going to hear a lot about people who got their start doing YouTube videos or skits or something like that, because that is the way of the world now. I'm going to ask you this straight up. Give me a time frame. How long before Curry Baker gets a big budget horror movie film after the success of this?
I feel like after this, people have to be pitching things or asking him what his biggest idea is. I don't think that we're far away from seeing him on the same level as like a Jordan Peele. So those directors who make very stylized but very thought-provoking horror movies.
Or he could just be the next Wes Craven, I guess is the right person to maybe say.
Well, Wes Craven made a lot of horror films that were fun to watch but never got much praise from
film critics.
This is, I think, something that critics and audiences are both loving because it's a little different. The plot's a little simplistic. I mean, you know, be careful what you wish for is an old adage, but I think it just really works.
If this is the future of horror, I'm here for it.
I guess I'm here for it. It is scaring me, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I mean, we talk about originality. This is original. This is an original idea that was completely taken and written up new. It's not an adaptation. It's not a remake or a reboot or a sequel or anything like that. Now, maybe it won't be long before we get a reimagining or some sort of like sequel to this, you know.
Yeah, I think it's in the same vein, like story-wise, as Needful Things. There are, you know, Monkey's Paw. There are a lot of this type of the wish that you want may come true, and it may be much worse than you're anticipating. And I think it's an old idea, but they made it really fresh with this movie.
If they came out with a sequel to this, gender swapped, would you go see it in the theater?
I don't think you could just make a sequel that was straight up and down the same thing. I think you could make a One Wish Willow series where a bunch of people make wishes that turn out terribly for them. I don't know that I would watch this same bad wish over again. I don't know that I would see it if it was just gender swapped, but I would see another One Wish Willow horror story.
1 minute left here. Go ahead, Celeste. See it, stream it, or skip it.
This is a see it for me. I think it's a really good theater experience. I think it will, if you like to be scared, I think it's going to do that for you. So this is another see it for me.
All right. I think it's going to be another see it as well. Like I say, I can't stop thinking about this movie. I mean, it's genuinely been on my mind every day for at least a couple hours of the day now, you know, because I'm picking out intricate details and stuff like that. I may have to go see this movie again to see if I can pick out some things that I didn't notice before.
I do think that's a good idea. I think the second time around that you'll probably it's so overwhelming the first watch. I think there are things that I missed because I was just creeped out. I think a second watch I would pick up on new details. It's just a really well made, well written, well directed movie.
All right, that's going to do it for Obsession. We'll be back to wrap things up here on See It, Stream It, Skip It. Welcome back. Closing things out here on episode 3. If you're new to the podcast of See It, Stream It, Skip It, most of our other 2 episodes are still playing in theaters. The first one, we talk about Devil Wears Prada 2 and Hokum, a horror movie. Although I got a feeling that's mostly out of most theaters by now. But who knows? Maybe you're listening in a big market area that it's actually doing well in. And then the second episode is Mortal Kombat 2 and Sheep Detectives, which I know is Celeste's favorite movie that we've done on this podcast so far is Sheep Detectives.
I think you can use Sheep Detectives as like a calming balm after you've seen Obsession.
Double feature.
Yeah.
I can agree to that. And we've also got a few special things coming up. Disclosure Day is coming up here pretty soon, and we will do a bonus episode of our top 5 favorite Steven Spielberg movies. Do you want to give a little snippet of any information, or are you just going to hold everything?
I'm going to hold everything back. I can't start talking about my all-time favorite movie this early on.
Yeah, that's very fair. My all-time favorite movie is in this as well, but it's going to ruffle some feathers. In fact, we were talking, I was talking with one of our program directors, Matt Kelly, and I gave him my list. And when I said number 1, he said, you're going to catch some heat for that. And I said, bring on the heat. I am ready for it. So I guess we'll just have to see. Okay. But really looking forward to Disclosure Day. Steven Spielberg kind of getting back into his wheelhouse of aliens and sort of thing. And it's being promoted very heavily. It's being promoted so much that our parents who don't really, or my parents at least, that don't watch hardly any movies in the theater anymore are thinking about coming up here for that theater experience.
I'm glad that it's getting people into the theater. I think it's great that he has had such a long, incredible career, and he's almost not had any misses. I know that some people will, sort of dislike some of his movies, but I think overall he's just had such an incredible career, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that in a couple of weeks, but next week we will be discussing, don't worry, folks, it's not a horror movie. It is actually 2 adventures, or I guess kind of comedies, or at least dark comedies.
I think there may be action comedies. We're going to see In the Gray and I Love Boosters. The first one, In the Gray, is a Guy Ritchie film. He's got Henry Cavill back, and he's got Jake Gyllenhaal. I can't wait to see the 2 of them together. I think that one will probably be an action comedy. And then I Love Boosters, starring Keke Palmer. I'm looking forward to that one. It looks a little on the weirder side, but in a way that I enjoy, so I'm excited to see it.
All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up? I mean, I know we talked a little bit about Obsession and probably didn't have enough time to do it. Probably got into all of the Mandalorian and Grogu stuff that we needed to get into without getting into spoilers necessarily. But we got 1 minute left here. Any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
I think you should see these movies without, this is going to sound very hypocritical of me to say, but I think you should see both of these movies without too much outside influence. That's why we're careful not to do spoilers. I think you should see these 2 with an open mind and make up your own decisions before you read anything too critical of the movie.
Yeah. I've been told by multiple people that I'm too easygoing on movies, which is not true. I just like movies, and I'm not very. I'm easily entertained. I'm like a little cat catching a fly.
Yeah, I like movies too, and I think that I try to judge things on if I think that there is an audience for it. So even if it's not my particular cup of tea, if I think it's a well-made film that has something to offer, I'll recommend it to other people who enjoy that genre more than I do.
All right, that's going to do it for episode 3 of See It, Stream It, Skip It.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.